Hey, what's going on, fam? Tokoyo Carlton here, and of course, another night. I tell you guys, I'm going to give you some love. I'm going to give you some value every single night, Monday through Friday. And I came up with a time for 9:30 because I know a lot of people who are business entrepreneurs, people that I want to kind of reach, are usually, still out there grinding, still got conference calls and things of that nature, team calls, all that. So I wanted to be respectful of that, but also I just wanted to make sure that I'm on every single night, like I said I would. And I need you to hold me accountable. So, I said I want to go live every night, Monday through Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that I can give you value, so I can help out and just, put you in a position to where, again, you're able to make better decisions about how to move forward, how to, be successful in your business endeavors, your relationships, you name it, right? So let me go ahead and start off by saying this, guys. My name is Tokoyo Carlton. I help entrepreneurs scale up and build their companies and processes from operations, marketing to execution, all in one marketing and consulting firm. It's pretty much what I do. So let me kind of break this down. So tonight, I wanted to talk to you about how do you build a business with an unsupportive spouse. So how do you build a business with an unsupportive spouse? Like, what do you do? What's the dynamics of that? Like, if you have, and again, when I say spouse, I don't just mean husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you name it. However, the dynamic is in your household. Understand that, again, the best way to build a business is together, right? And I know you're saying, well, how do I build it together? How do we build a business together if we're separated by the way we think, right? Because you can be in love with somebody, you could be with someone, but not be on the same page as what their dreams and aspirations are, right? You love them, good to you, they're good to the kids. I mean, you name it, right? All the X's are, or checks are all checked for that person. They do all the right things. For the most part, 99% of the time you're happy, right? Because there's no perfect happiness in a relationship, right? There's always someone upset somewhere down the road, right? So how do I build a business relationship with someone who doesn't have the same vision as I do? Or, again, they think a certain way. Maybe they think that maybe it's a male and he feels like you shouldn't build a business because he wants to be the breadwinner in the house, right? Maybe you're dealing with that. Or maybe you're dealing with a better half, a wife or a girlfriend who says, you know what, I don't like the fact that you're, spending so much time out in the field, or you got all these calls coming in, and maybe some of the calls are women and they feel a little jealous or whatever you because of, late night calls or conversations that you're having, although they're, professional conversations, people can start feeling that way. How you doing, Miss Williams? Hello, how you doing? And so how do I get better at building a working relationship with my other half? Again, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, it doesn't matter, right? Or even friends. So the first thing is we have to communicate. Communication, guys, listen, and you know me, guys, I like to talk about all subjects, business, personal, relationships. I love that stuff because it's part of our lives. We can't get away from it. So how do I have a relationship with my spouse and work a business when I don't feel like they're supporting me like they should? Well, I don't feel like they're as engaged as I am in this business, right? So, and I know that happens a lot. So as a leader, we had that question a lot where you have one half, right? Let me just put it this way, watch this. For the leaders that are listening to this right here, these are network marketers or whatever, or business people, it doesn't matter, but you always have that one spouse. If they come together in a meeting, there's always that one spouse, maybe it's the husband, maybe it's the wife, but they're sitting there like this, like, when is it over? I can't wait to go home, right? But then you look at like, and you look at that, and it's always that one that's always the one that's kind of like trying to derail the other person having that opportunity to succeed in what they think they're doing to help their family. So how do I communicate with someone who doesn't see it like I see it? Well, first thing is I would, either you can have someone come in as a third party, right? Someone you're working with. Let's just say for tonight, example, you're in home-based business. Maybe it's an upline support chain, someone who you're doing business with, or someone you have a great deal of respect for, who can come in and kind of explain what's what the business entails, like how much time, that you're going to be spending on it on a weekly basis, daily basis. Um, Setting goals. How long do you give yourself to be successful in that company? Setting money goals, setting family goals. I mean, so that person can come in there and kind of like, be that middle person to kind of show, hey, listen, this is what it is, and this is how it's going to work. And even though and they say something like this, even though you're not interested in building the business, right? Again, it doesn't matter which spouse it is. Even though you're interested in the business, your wife or husband is, and they're not asking you to go build the business with them. They just want your support. Y'all see that? So I know you love your husband and wife, or your wife, but they're not asking you to build it with them. They're just asking for your support. And what I mean by support, I mean, can you be there for them? Can you allow them to have a few nights a week where they go to a meeting or get on a conference call or a Zoom, or go to a local event, or book a weekend at a, let's say, a Super Saturday or a training event, and again, even though we book that event, could you be the one? Maybe you go with them to that event, right? And that's still keeping you together. So here's what happens. You start working together, and again, working together doesn't mean that person's out in the field with you. It just means that you're working together, meaning that they understand what's necessary in order for you to attain success in that business, that direct sales company, that traditional business, that network marketing business, right? They understand what it takes. And once someone understands what it takes, it's easier for them to understand why you have to be on a call, why you have to be on a Zoom, why people are calling you or texting you. But also, the other thing is that person also has to have trust in the person, the other half. Does that make sense? So not only do you have to communicate, but you also have to rely on trust, meaning that you trust that this person is doing what they say they're doing, right? They're in it for business. They're talking to this person about business. And then also, not only do you have to trust, but the person who is actually building the business, the husband or the wife, they have to be respectful of the other half, meaning, hey, listen, I don't take calls after a certain time. And that could be something that could be agreed upon between a man and a woman, right? Y'all can say, well, hey, listen, honey, I know you get a lot of calls and things of that nature, but I want to cut it off at 9 o'clock. Anything after 9 o'clock is unacceptable. See, that's communication. That's working together, right? And so we have to do that. We have to do that. Okay. So again, that's part of working with someone and building something together. So again, we're what's the word I'm looking for? You know, we're basically working together, guys, to where again they can go do what's necessary. And again, we can set the parameters. You can say, well, honey, listen, we'll still have our date night. We'll have our date night where it's just me and you. But I have some big dreams, and I want to tell you about those dreams and share it with the other half. Let them know where you want to go, what you want to do. Let them know the goals, like how soon. But also the other thing too, even though the other person doesn't want to be a part of the business and the growth and all that stuff, you still have to have those real conversations with them, right? They have to feel a part of it, even though they said they don't want to be a part of it. Maybe it's not for them, and that's okay. But again, support me. Meaning support me by letting me get on the calls, letting me get on the Zooms, letting me go to these, right? And eventually, if once things start rolling and they see that you're serious about what you're doing, because sometimes it could be a situation where the other spouse is like, well, you've already tried like 5 different companies, and you left every one of them. You never stayed committed. So now maybe they just have a bad feeling about what business you're doing. In any business, doesn't matter how good it sounds or looks, they just don't want to be a part of it because they know you're going to quit, and we always get hyped up and you always spending money for all this stuff right here and you never take it serious. So that could be a key, that what, hey honey, if I can't make it work, if I can't make it work, I'll be honest with you, right? And I need you to hold me accountable to what I said I wanted to do or the things I wanted to accomplish. So that's the other thing you can do. Okay, so again, everything starts with communication. So if you want to have a success, relationship with building a business and also being in a relationship, you got to learn to communicate. That's very important. You've got to be able to communicate, and you also have to have a level of trust between each other, right? I got to trust that you're really serious about what you're doing, that you're not out, doing something you shouldn't be doing. And then you got to trust me that I'm in it for the real, for the long haul. I'm not just, it's just not one of those things. It's not just one of those deals. So again, you got to know that I'm committed. We got to communicate. You got to trust me. And then, of course, guys, there's got to be some things in place to where it's beneficial for the family. So if you've got kids and mom or dad is out running constantly, so they're working a full-time job, they're building their business, and now they're trying to, get this thing to a next level. So now they're gone 40 hours a week, at their jobs. Then they're throwing another 20 hours a week to building a business up. And, a lot of things can go lacking, but that's the reason why we have to communicate with the other half and start saying, hey, listen, maybe the other half starts to pick up a little slack of what you normally would do, because we have to understand that we're going somewhere. There has to be a number that's set. There has to be a time frame that is set. There has to be some goals that are set. And then it also has to be some incentives there. What are the incentives for me, doing what I'm doing? What are the incentives for me to do this extra, to pick up this extra slack that you used to do, or, that we used to have, because you're focused on what you're doing and committed to. What's the incentive for me? So maybe that incentive is like, listen, honey, if we can get, in the next 90 days, if I hit XYZ position, right, in this company, or I hit XYZ compensation plan, or if I hit XYZ amount of people who join my business, or if our company, once our company reaches the 6-month mark, we're going on this vacation, right? We're going to that favorite dinner place that you like. Right. So there's got to be something in it for them. Right. Everybody's tuned into their own radio station. Is that right? So there has to be something that's there for them in order for it to work as well. So if they're going to be here to support you and help you to build out, again, by just supporting you, not doing it themselves, but supporting you. Because listen, here's what I've figured out over the years of doing this. I've seen, one half, kind of, be that person that's tooting their little horn and, tripping about whatever situation. But what happens is eventually, once they find out the person that's doing it is super, super excited and also committed, and they're doing what's necessary to win, and they start seeing the results, that also has an effect on changing the other half's opinion of how they feel about the business that you're doing, because now they see you're serious. Now it's not one of those things that you quit, 2 months in. Right? It's not one of those things that you talked in a good game on and then again quit again. So again, they're starting to see that you're serious about what you want to do, and because they see that seriousness from you, they can now trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. They can now say, hey, listen, you know what? He or she is doing very well. I'm going to step in now because it's changed. I see them doing some things that I had never seen them do. They're talking differently. They're walking differently. So again, that stuff is important as, the other half starts to kind of watch you do what you do. Does that make sense? Like they're watching what you do, just like the people who are on your social media and they don't ever comment or like or whatever. And then next thing you know, they're joining your business. They're just watching. A lot of people are watching to see if you're going to fail. A lot of people are watching to see if you're going to quit. And again, your spouse, your other half is the same way. Right? They know you've never owned a business before. So how are you going to become a business owner overnight? You've never had experience in it. So how do I trust that you're going to do something with this one? Right? How do I trust that you're going to do what's necessary to get the education, to get the support that you need to be successful? How do I know we're not spending more money, that we don't have? So again, it has to be a communication, has to be a trust factor. And it has to be, respect on both sides, right? There has to be some rewards there, some incentives, not just for your other half, your spouse, but it also has to be some rewards and incentives for your kids. Because not only is your husband or wife putting up with, the things that you're doing, the time that you're putting away from the family, the calls, the Zooms, the text messages, the phone calls, but so are your kids. So what are we doing for them? So really, it's a family conversation. The kids got to know that, hey, listen, mom's going to be away a little bit longer, or dad's going to be away a little bit longer after work, building something for us. And then here, listen, dad said if we do this by this time, he's going to take us to Disney, or you know what I'm saying? Like there has to be something, a reward, an incentive for everybody to put up with the change in the dynamics at the house, right? The time away, the phone calls, all this stuff, the times where, people will complain like, man, you're always on your phone. Well, I'm doing something, I'm going somewhere, and I've got to take any time that I have available to do this. So I'm not saying that, hey, you're giving them permission to really just go out and go ham or bananas on this business that they're embarking on. What I'm saying is that you understand when they're doing what they're doing. If the conversation's already been had, you've got to support them on that. You've got to give them a chance. Does that make sense? And so, real quick, guys, I can't really see can I? Okay. I was trying to see if I can see some of the comments, but I can't because I'm actually on the phone right now, so I can't see the comments. But again, here's the thing, guys. If you're liking what you hear, I need you to just put a 1 in the comments. And listen to the replay. I just want you to put number 2. Okay. Hopefully we're giving you some value here. And again, the conversation tonight is, what do I do if I have how do I work with an unsupportive spouse? And the key is, again, conversation, communication, having that real conversation about what is it, and then compromising on it, because there's going to have to be a level of compromise between both of you for it to work. If there's no compromise, it's going to be, it's not going to be a good thing, right? You're going to have someone who's going to be fighting against you as every step that you think you're growing. Again, they're going to be fighting with you. They're not going to let you, hey, listen, I can't watch the kids tonight. I can't do this, right? Because they're not being supportive. But again, if the conversation has been had and we agreed upon it, then it just works so much better. But again, it has to be trust there. And I know with women and men here, because we deal in this industry predominantly as women. It's predominantly dominated by women. So a lot of men in this industry, kind of get it bad a little bit, especially if they're in relationships, marriages, or girlfriends or whatever, because we deal with a lot of women. You get phone calls. So this woman's calling. Well, who's this woman calling you, right? But guys, if we had a conversation and you know the deal, then of course, they understand it's business, and you can't be hiding numbers, guys. You can't be like, oh, I need to go in the other room to talk to this person. Y'all getting this? So your wife is your partner. Your husband is your partner. So again, you have to be upfront with them. And again, it can't be anything hidden. It can't be these little secret conversations, right? So again, that gives that trust factor between you and that other person, right? It's a little give and take there. So I think I've went over everything that we need here, guys, as far as like, how do you work with an unsupportive spouse, right? Again, number 1, communicate. Compromise. So in communication, there's compromise, right? We're working together on this. Even though I'm the one that's out front, even though I'm the one that's going through the meetings, doing the calls, getting on the Zooms, and you're at home supporting me in other ways, right? You may be sort of supporting me by watching the kids so I can do what I need to do, right? So again, communication, compromise. There's also got to be a trust factor, okay? Because again, because we're dealing with other people, there's other conversations, other people who start to come in our lives that now we're having conversations with or feelings with, and the others may feel some kind of way. We have to know that, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing, honey. This is what I'm doing, hubby, or whatever, to build our business. Everybody who I'm talking to. I'm upfront with you about what I'm doing. There's nothing to hide. You're able to see my phone. So again, that's where a lot of it gets messed up, is when that man or that woman is actually, it feels like they're kind of living a separate life. But if it's out front and open to where, again, the husband, the wife knows what you're doing, it makes it so much easier, right? And then of course, over time, that other half will start to actually, jump in with you. Does that make sense? Because now they see you mean business. Now they see you making, strides, and it's easier to work with you. It's easier for both parties to work together now. And now that we're together and on the same page, it can blossom even more, right? So that's the key, guys. And then of course, it has to be a commitment to what it is you said you wanted to have long after the feeling you set it in has left you. So again, you got to stay strong. You got to stay committed, because that's the thing that the other half is looking for. Are they serious? All right. So, hey, guys, I appreciate you. As I said, I'm going to be doing this every single night of the week, Monday through Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about some great stuff that you can apply to your daily life. Some will be business, some will be personal, some will be relationship. I just like talking about stuff, man, that real people deal with. So with that, guys, it's been a plum pleasing pleasure. I look forward to seeing you guys all at the top, from the top, or over the top. Take care, take charge, and we'll talk to you soon.